Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX. I hope you're having a great week so far. We are in the heat of summer, and we're in the middle of summer markets as well, which is kind of choppy trading, but there's still some good opportunities. Just lots of patience required. You can see that we've just got craziness going on in Egypt, and of course, anytime anything happens anywhere on Earth, oil has to go up, and so that has been the case. But U.S. markets overall are not having a bad day or necessarily a good day, just kind of in the middle. The Dow's actually up a couple of points, S&P's kind of flat. We have so much news coming up, I can't even hardly keep track of it. We've seen tons of news already. Trade balance for the for Canada and U.S., ADP numbers, services PMI that came out for the U.K. and caused the pound dollar to rally 10,000 pips. Maybe not that much, but close to it. And then we have, coming up today, we have a little bit of news out of the Bank of Japan, and we'll have a little announcement out of Australia. This isn't a huge one. Building approvals, this is kind of like housing starts report. It's a little bit of a mover, but not a huge one. Coming into tomorrow, we have lots of big stuff. It's a bank holiday in the U.S. It's Independence Day, but I'm going to be here slaving away like I always do. Trading for the morning action because we're going to have interest rate announcements for the UK and interest rate announcements for Europe, and then the ECB press conference at 5:30 in the morning Pacific time, which will be a fantastic one to watch. Lots of movement there, and there's going to be plenty of things to talk about. So, being that we have that tomorrow, it's going to make the pound dollar, well, the pound and euro pairs a little extra tricky. So, some of the things I talk about are going to be more of overviews today and less of let's take a trade right now. So the euro dollar right now, so much can happen with Draghi speaking. Anytime he does, things go crazy. But what we need to at least be aware of is that we have a channel right here on the euro dollar. It's holding up pretty well. If we go from the high of 2 weeks ago now, which is around 134.15-ish, and we go to the low right here and draw some Fibonacci's, it's about a 500 pip channel. You can see that our weekly pivot overlaps nicely with the 23% fib. So this is going to be pretty strong resistance. Well, it just so happens that also we have a descending trend line right here, and if we got a break of this trend line, that would basically pretty much about the same time be a break of the weekly pivot point and that 23% fib, and we should see a fairly easy run up into 131.50 at that point. So mark on your charts, mark on your sticky notes and stick them to your monitor, 130.40 on the euro dollar. Above 130.40, I think things open up, the floodgates open, and we start to see a bit of a run higher. Otherwise, I kind of like, if we didn't have all that news coming out tomorrow, and if that level doesn't break, then we're actually going to have a very nice short opportunity on the euro dollar. Again, this channel is holding up very nicely. We may end up with a bit of a pin bar here on this daily chart. I don't know if it's major concern just yet, but you can see that there's definitely some things going on in this in this area here. We're back up above 130. We're above, we're below, we're above, we're below. 130 is definitely a tough level, but I think there is some very nice potential opportunities to short in this area as well. I'll be keeping an eye on some of these upper areas like 13100 coming into the news and so on, weekly highs and Friday highs. Our Friday high last week was 131.02, and then our weekly high so far is 130.77. So these are both areas that could potentially be good to short against with the coming news. But it's really going to be a lot of wait and see. We'll have a live session tomorrow in the chat, and we'll be watching that and looking for that movement. After the press conference with Draghi. So in the meantime, just wait, be careful, know that we have a lot of resistance at 130.40. Pound dollar, the pound dollar is actually looking quite interesting in that I don't know what happened to my level here, but the pound dollar is looking very good because I think what we have really setting up nicely is the top of a channel. This is bouncing off the top of the channel, and I think we might get back down towards or pretty darn close to a double bottom, and I think there's good potential for a double bottom here, or at least most of the way there. 151.75, 151.50. Our low here is 151.30, but we're coming off the top of this channel. You can see that we're stalling out at the 23% fib. So if we go again from the high of 2 weeks ago, which is 157.50, to the low, which is 151.30, so that's a pretty big chunk, 600 plus pips. We're staying below this level, and this is where I'm looking for a bounce. We have a big long wick right there. You can see this fantastic shooting star on the 1 hour chart. 200 moving average kind of rejected everything. Weekly pivot seems to be holding everything at bay. Friday high is holding everything pretty well. 23% fib is holding everything pretty well, and this will hopefully cause a little bit of a move back down. But make no mistake about the fact that I am pretty sure, again, we have interest rate announcements for the UK tomorrow, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be looking for an opportunity to get long against this low. So somewhere around 151.50 to 151, to even 152.00. 151.50 to 152.00 I think is going to be a good area to get long on the pound dollar after the news tomorrow, and buy against this low and trade the break and start working our way back up into some of this retracement. We've tested this 23% fib. I think it's going to give way, and I think we're going to be ready for an opportunity to trade through those highs. But for the meantime, watch this kind of stuff. We have this little trend line right here. This should break and give us that move back down. And even if we got that move back down before the news, I would still consider getting long against these lows coming into the news. So keep an eye on that. Aussie dollar continues down. Nothing super exciting there, except for the fact that it's staying in the channel and the trend. I think there's opportunities to short against a weekly high, but I'm not doing too much on the Aussie dollar just yet, or on the Aussie yen. Euro yen, on the other hand, I'm pretty interested in the euro yen and getting short against this high now, against this weekly high, which is 131.11. We had this nice run down, so this was a channel we talked about the break, and we had that nice move down, hit that weekly pivot. We still have a missed daily pivot. This is pulling back up. I think the opportunities to trade against this high are going to be fantastic. We're 125 pips away right now, which is a little bit far, so I'm looking for a little bit of a push higher, get us a little closer to 130.100, like 130, 70, 80, even 90, and get some stops up here. Ultimately, I'd like to have stops above 131.40, but at least above this high right here is what we're looking to trade against, and I think we're going to have a nice opportunity to short the euro yen and take that back down a bit lower. So I'm looking for that to happen. And same thing with the pound yen, but this one's pretty choppy, so I'm sitting this one out until after the news tomorrow. But we are going to be watching these levels. 151.25 is a strong one, and we've got some upper levels here that that continue to kind of be tested. You can see we have this nice shooting star here on the 4 hour chart, so there's still some nice pressure for this to continue down, but again, it's kind of a messy chart. So focus is going to be on the euro dollar after the news tomorrow, pound dollar anytime we get back into these lows and buying off against these lows. Aussie dollar kind of hanging in there, and shorting the euro yen against the highs if we can get a little bit closer to 13100. So that's what we're looking for. Good luck. Follow me on Twitter if you have any questions. Feel free to email me or send me a tweet, and I will see you guys in the chat. Thanks a bunch, everybody.